Hi AMFishers, I'm Bill Georgopoulos, the host of the AMFisH fishing vlog. Making a series of videos today. I've been up here just bass fishing on my own, and it's a little too windy. It's been windy all day, so I've been battling the elements. I'm just letting my trolling motor batteries charge up a little with my solar panels, so I'm taking the opportunity to make a bunch of videos. This one specifically pertaining to swimbaits. Swimbaits have been on the market for probably the last several years. Fantastic baits, soft plastic bait, but they come in various versions. I'll hold a few up here. I classify these, and again, some people may have a different, let's just call it, opinion on what a swimbait actually is. These are just some hard swimbaits here. Again, they actually in the package right now, but that tail will actually swing side to side. There's another version of that same one there. I classify these as swimbaits. The most common ones you'll see are these. This looks like a soft plastic minnow. It's got the eyes, it's got a fluttering tail, and they're hooked. With the hook here, some of the hooks have weights. It just depends on how you actually want the bait to swim, so I'll do some further videos on that. This is just almost rigged like a Texas style. It's got a little screw that goes into the nose of the bait to hold it onto the hook, and then the hook doesn't take much, but there, it's exposed right there. It just takes a little bit of a pinch. But these are, again, they're soft plastic baits. You know, you look at them and they look like real fish. They feel like real fish, but they come in a variety of sizes. I have some smaller ones here. Black, white, and silvers. Again, same style, that little paddle tail. You see that in the wind right now, and just as I'm shaking it around, that little paddle tail will just wiggle like this in the water. There are smaller ones there. I've got a medium-sized one, solid white, pearl white. Same idea. Again, compared to something like this, it's significantly smaller. You compare it to the really small one, same thing. You're going to want a variety of these if you are into swimbait fishing. I have a few colors. Common colors would be the whites, some of the golds, any white with red on them, and the blacks. Again, it depends on the body of water you're fishing and what species of bait fish you do have in that body of water. But they are great baits. Like I said, that little tail there is pretty enticing to fish. I'm going to hold up a different version here as well. These are just gold ones. Same idea, that paddle tail. Let's see if I can get the inside of that paddle tail. That's the inside of that paddle tail, and that's the back end of the paddle tail. And what that does is it'll flutter like a little motor, just side to side, side to side, side to side. Great bait to use if you've gotten into fishing and you kind of, you can almost work these like a crankbait. And again, they do come in various sizes, various colors. I've got a large one here. Just don't want to lose the package, so I'm going to put that down on the floor. But here's a really large swimbait, and again, you'll see the same repetition there. That paddle tail really gives off a lot of action, but this is a significantly larger, put it next to the gold one, much larger swimbait. But they're great baits. The one trick that I actually have tried with them, I did read a few articles and I've experimented myself. When you reel these in very quickly, they look like a fish swimming. Just hands down. I mean, you can't say they don't. But what I've noticed is I work them extremely slow. I will turn that reel just enough to actually have this bait coming back. With these smaller ones, especially in that early spring, and I don't know what it is when I work them slowly, but working them very slowly, this tail just goes side to side in such a quick little motion, but the bait itself's not moving very quickly. And for some reason, I don't know if this gives the fish more time to see it. I've caught fish on them working them quickly, but I just work them extremely slowly. They do look, in my opinion, a lot more like a natural fish, working them very slowly. And again, you can also tweak these too. If you think come fall, I usually will tweak some of these, maybe even the larger ones, and I'll show the gold one to show what I'm talking about when it comes to tweaking. But as you can see, this body's pretty flexible all the way through. So in the spring, when species and little bait fish are moving very quickly, I don't mind leaving it like that. In the fall, that tail, that whipping tail like that, might be a little too much action. Fish tend to slow down a little bit when the water gets colder and the temps drop. So again, this is just me experimenting over the years. I'll take a toothpick and just stick it in the bottom end here. And what that's going to do is, if I stick a toothpick in probably about that much of the fish, it's going to keep it more rigid. So what ends up happening is, instead of the tail moving freely to that extent, it will actually just move to that extent. And then I can actually back up the toothpick if I want and only have the prop here. Again, there'll be opinions on this. People say, well, I'd never do that, you're going to ruin the bait. It's not going to work like that. That's fine. I mean, everyone, you know, fishing is, sometimes to me, it's a very personal thing. You may develop your own strategies and your own little tricks and tips that are going to work for you. But they're great baits. Have a few colors of them. Give them a try. They are fantastic. And the hits on these are absolutely phenomenal, because if you've ever watched any other just natural videos on the internet or read up on it, fish tend to attack the head of another fish. It's easier to take it down. If they bite the back end of a fish and it's got its gill plates open, it's harder for the fish to actually swallow that bait. So a lot of these baits, and typically on crankbaits as well, which is why they have that other treble hook dangling here, they hammer the front end of this and end up getting hooked on that hook that's sticking out the back. Get ready for it, guys. I'll tell you, some of the hits on these are aggressive, very, very hard. But give them a try, pick them up. They're fantastic little baits to have. Part of the arsenal when you're out here. You know, elements change, the day changes, the fish change, and sometimes they need something a little different. So thanks for tuning in. Pick some up, give them a try, and I wish